Parks and Rec is full to the brim of great characters. The reason the show is good is because it's fun to hang around with its stars. The show also has many recurring characters that helped it shine, like the douche or Tammy 2, appearances that add a little drama and hilarity to the main cast. Other characters have only appeared in just one episode, but they added such a unique or funny personality that they deserve to be recognized for their role, no matter how small. With all that in mind, I'm Will for What Culture, and here are the 10 best Parks and Recreation characters who only appear in one episode.
The Force is with us. What Culture Star Wars is our brand new channel dedicated to all things Star Wars. We'll have all the usual lists, features, and news, plus there'll be ups and downs for all the latest shows and movies, and coverage on Star Wars novels and comics. Subscribe today via whatculture.com/Star Wars or search What Culture Star Wars on YouTube.
10. Chip McCapp. Chip McCapp is a 17-year-old country singer seen in Season 6, Episode 19, Flu Season 2. He's famous for hits like Beautiful Like My Mom, Support the Troops, and the most poetic lyrics like I bring the girls, you bring the beer, and the troops will bring the freedom. Andy and Leslie go to visit Chip when Andy secures him as the headliner for their Unity concert. It's quickly apparent that he is a spoiled brat, throwing his stackables at his father when he was told there's no ham left and shooting him with a paintball gun just because he can. Leslie can ignore this until he makes the one mistake you should never make around Leslie. He insults Pawnee. 9. Garth Blunden. In Season 5, Episode 19, Article 2, Garth Blunden enters the show with a spirited filibuster. He is mad that Leslie wants to change some old, nonsensical laws since a man named Ted is sick of getting thrown into the lake on Ted Party Day. A whimsical take on a badly written declaration of Tea Party Day. To get him to back down, Leslie takes on a wager where the two of them will live in the Pawnee historical house as if it was 1817. Garth thrives in the role though, as he hilariously and enthusiastically throws himself into every aspect of their old-timey life. 8. Tynnyfer. When Eagleton is absorbed into Pawnee, everyone in the Parks Department gets to meet their Eagleton equivalent in Season 6, Episode 3's Doppelgangers. April gets Tynnyfer, a girl who used to be named Jennifer but decided to rebrand herself. Within a minute of meeting, April starts copying her mannerisms and way of talking, claiming that Tynnyfer is, quote, the worst person she's ever met. They quickly bond after April lays it on thick. Since Leslie has to fire some people after the Eagleton merger, April tells Tynnyfer that she should leave because the Parks Department is horrible. She sends her to April's house in Miami, telling Tynnyfer to just jump the gate. Tynnyfer jumps on the opportunity, saying she was thinking of moving somewhere warmer while her husband is in jail. 7. Clarence Carrington. In Season 2, Episode 20's Summer Catalogue, Leslie arranges a picnic for all the previous directors of the Parks Department. They are all horrible and hilarious, but Clarence stood out with his exceptionally old-fashioned views. He tells Leslie that women shouldn't have leadership roles since they have to send so much blood to their baby centers they don't have much left over for their brains. He then says that she shouldn't lead them through the forest since she will attract bears if she's menstruating. Obviously, her reaction to these claims is fantastic. 6. Carl Lorthner. In Season 2, Episode 19, Park Safety, Leslie calls a meeting with Park Ranger Carl Lorthner after Jerry claims that he was mugged in a park. Carl is a guy who was moved to an outside job since he is blissfully unaware that he yells every time he tries to speak. Even a pack of pigeons fly away the second he starts talking. Carl takes Leslie, Tom, and Jerry on a very loud tour through the park where the mugging happens. He even drives them around on a golf cart that a bunch of raccoons broke into and peed all over. 5. Kelly Larson. In Season 3, Episode 3, Time Capsule, Leslie is trying to put together a time capsule that is meant to be opened 50 years later to show the future people the spirit of Pawnee. During this, Kelly Larson appears in her office to demand that she adds the Twilight books to the capsule. When she refuses, he handcuffs himself to a pipe in her office. He was so prepared to do this that he even brought food, water, and a pillow so that he could stay for several days. He may seem crazy at first, but when Leslie finds out that he's doing it to impress his daughter, she opens up suggestions for the time capsule to the public. This all results in a hilarious but passionate debate. 4. Elsa Clack. The Parks Department goes to stay at the Quiet Corn B&B in Season 3, Episode 8, Camping. The owner, Elsa Clack, welcomes them by announcing that breakfast is between 5:30 and 6:15 a.m. and that waking up any later is very rude. She also provides a weird list of food options, which Ron is particularly horrified by. The whole inn is full of creepy dolls, antique furniture, and a million cats that all add to the strange vibe Elsa gives off. The episode ends with her playing an organ in a cat-filled room for Jerry and Ben, while the latter is trying to get out of the locked room. He later claims that she died 20 minutes after. 3. Chris. In Season 2, Episode 13, The Setup, Anne sets Leslie up with Chris, an MRI technician she works with. He seems normal when she first meets him, but then gets unusually annoyed because she went to a rival college and she is in charge of normal parks, not amusement parks. He mutters "strike two" under his breath when she clarifies her job. The date continues going downhill from there. When Chris gives a reluctant Leslie an MRI scan, just normal first date stuff, he keeps commenting on her womb. He follows that up by freaking her out when he thinks there's something wrong with her brain, only to realize that it was just a smudge on the screen. Great guy, Anne. Thank you. 2. Herb Scafer. With the amount of strange people living in Pawnee, it's not surprising to discover that in the 1970s, the town was taken over by a doomsday cult. It was called the Reasonableists, but they were often called the Zorpies since they followed Zorp the Surveyor. In Season 4, Episode 6, The End of the World, their current leader, Herb Scafer, requests the use of one of the town's parks for an all-night vigil. From reading Lou Prazodovich's Organize It 2, Engage with Zorp, he calculated the world was going to end that very night. This wasn't the first time he had predicted the end of the world, and these vigils had become something of an annual tradition. But this time, he was sure. Like, really sure. It didn't happen, though. Spoilers. Number 1. Raul Alejandro Bastila Pedro de Veloso de Maldonado. Boom! Second try. Diplomats from Pawnee's sister city Baracua, Venezuela come for a visit in Season 2, Episode 5, Sister City. Their vice director of the Parks Department, Raul Alejandro Bastila Pedro de Veloso Maldonado, comes in strong, insulting Pawnee from the second he arrives. He starts by assuming Tom is a servant and, when told there is a welcome party, asking for a book he can look through to pick out which woman he wants. He continues insulting Pawnee and America as Leslie tries to show him around to impress him. During a public meeting, when the locals are yelling and arguing as usual, Raul questions why they all aren't just being sent to jail. His monologue on what they send people to jail for in his country is comedy gold. He later tries to pay off Leslie to get her to insult America and compliment Venezuela on camera as part of a propaganda campaign. Raul is one of the best villains in Parks and Rec, which is twice as impressive as he only had just one episode to shine. And there you have it, folks, the 10 best Parks and Recreation characters who only show up in one episode. Feel free to drop this video a like if you enjoyed it, and drop me a follow on Twitter at YouSlyDogU. You can also leave a comment down below with your own personal favorite one-shot Parks and Recreation characters, and swing on by WhatCulture.com for daily news, lists, articles, and quizzes, and all that other funky internet stuff. I'm Will for What Culture, thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.